Welcome. My name is Penelope Chatterton. Welcome to Awaken the Dream. My friends, Lisa Natoli is here to join me today to talk about so many things I don't know where to start. She's a Course in Miracles lady. She has written Gorgeous for God. She is co-founder of Teachers of God Foundation, and I want to know, during the show, we got to remind our folks to know where to find you. And it's good to see you. It's been a couple of years. You look great.
Thank you.
And we had your pal on last week, and we've learned some things about you already. So you are very intuitive, and I hear very energetic, and you're a good receiver. And so today you want to talk about the practice of the presence of God, and you can help me guide us into how you got there.
Oh, good.
Because you used to be very mental, verbal, reading like a lot of us. So you've gone through a lot of stages in your development and your growing and your discovery of yourself.
Yes, well, it's good to be here. And
I'm glad.
Practicing the presence of God actually is inspired by you, because I know how much you love Joel Goldsmith.
Yes,
and I love Joel Goldsmith.
Yes.
So I just
He's mine.
He's mine. We'll share him.
Yeah, okay. All right. We're twins. We can do
We
that.
are twins. And we're Tauruses.
And we're Tauruses.
Yeah.
Yes, my friends, we really are both twins. So, so tell us about your practice, or how you, well, you sit now and you receive, and it's simple.
Well, I have gone through many stages, and this idea of practicing the presence of God to me is what the Course in Miracles is about, that it's a training.
Yeah.
And to me, the goal is living the presence of God, where you are in a space of there is only joy, there's no problems, no anxiety. Yeah. And the practice of it, it's like you have to start somewhere. You have to start wherever you are. And that's what I love about teaching the Course in Miracles, because it takes you wherever you are. Yeah. It doesn't matter how, down at the bottom you are. It doesn't matter how sick you are. It doesn't matter
how lost.
It doesn't matter any of that, your financial situation. Yeah. And it takes you from the place that you are, and it gives you a practice. Yeah. And what I love about it is that a lot of different spiritual paths are very conceptual. It's like you think other people have an experience, and you want to have that experience, but it's almost as if it's just for them. It's for the elect, or that they've done something special, or they were with a teacher. They were the chosen ones, right? Yeah. But the Course in Miracles is for everybody. It literally guarantees that if you do what it says, you will have an experience where your entire thought system of fear literally falls away. It collapses. And so in the beginning, when you're practicing the presence of God, you have to make a conscious shift over into this place. Yeah. So what the Course in Miracles teaches is there's two completely separate thought systems, and they have no interlap of any kind. Yeah. But what most people think is, when they're having a human condition, that all of these emotions are all mixed up. Yeah. You have fear and love and joy and anxiety, and they think like they're having one experience. But you begin to see that no, there's two different thought systems. Fear, anxiety, sickness, worry, jealousy are over here. And over here is joy and peace and harmony, and everything's in the flow, and everything's easy. And
everything's eternal.
Everything's eternal. Yeah. And so there's a practice where you begin to differentiate when you're thinking and feeling this way, and when you're thinking and feeling this way. And you begin to discover you can choose in every moment where you want to be. So what happens in the beginning when people start to practice, most people don't even realize that this has been going on. Yeah. But once
That's true.
It is true. And when you discover it, what then happens is people start to see they're just flip-flopping back and forth between the two, and there's a frustration usually, because they want to stay over here, but they keep getting pulled back down into fear and doubt and worry and loneliness. And so it's a practice.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think Letters of the Scattered Brotherhood says if you even come up from a minus to a zero, it's so cute, where when you touch the eternal moment, it does tend to, with time and the practice of this thought system, eventually it will start to have the fear go away. And we need a thought system to survive here. We need something to approach life with. And the Course is right there for us, and all the facets from the Course that are happening, and it gives you a way to do it. It gives you something to solve the problem of being a human being. And this dimension has got a lot of fear.
Well, I like what you just said, like you need a thought system. So what often happens when people meditate is they try to get to blank mind. They try to reach a state where there's no thought. But that is literally impossible because the mind of God is highly creative. So what the Course in Miracles teaches, or any path that's true, teaches you're not trying to get to blank mind, you're trying to reach the thoughts that are in alignment with your God mind. So your gratitude, appreciation.
Thank you for saying that, because that clears up a lot for folks who think, oh, I can't be quiet, I can't be blank, I can't be empty. I think that's being too hard on themselves. You're right, we're going to a creative place. Yeah,
and I can't do it. I mean, when I hear people say it, I say, I wish you could see my mind. It's so fast. So it's not to try to get to the place where there's no thought. It's just a practice of being quiet. Like you have a willingness now to say, okay, I can introduce periods in my day. And this is Joel Goldsmith. Like he said, that he wanted, out of all of his work, the only thing that he hoped people remembered as his mission was that each one of us would give 3 meditation periods a day to practicing the presence of God, and this would be our gift to the world. And that's a beautiful thing. Like you just make a decision. I'm going to sit quietly. I'm not going to think about my problems, myself, my body, my sickness.
That's not a big assignment. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, actually.
That's all. Who can't do that? But a lot of folks struggle with the Course in Miracles because it's very verbose. It's got creeds, it seems. It has a religious flavor, and a lot of folks just don't think that's very New Age. But but the whole point of it is you get the head slaps. All of them take you to the same place of having a choice, and that's pretty interesting. If you can actually get the point of why those lessons seem so strange, and some so much easier than others.
It is.
But you are a Course lady, and it's sort of slapped you around. You've had a rough past. You had a lot to let go of and a lot of surrender to do, and that's why you are who you are and why you do what you do.
And that's why I like teaching it, because I feel like I've lived this. I'm not teaching it saying, okay, I've never been there. Like I was alcoholic, cigarette smoker, depressed, no money, struggling, you know, and I had done all the things the world told me to do. And it's like you can't find the door to get out of this condition, even though you know it's possible because you've heard other people do it. And so for me, like and I had the Course for 20 years, and still not much was happening. Like it was, to me, in the beginning, in the early days, it was very complicated. And I had to get past all of the ideas of, like you say, the religious language that's in it. And once I did that, like once I got to the point when I saw, oh my God, I just need to do what it says. Like I'd been trying to understand it. And that you can't understand it. But once I decided, okay, that's it. For all my 20 years of practicing, I don't know what they were, but I'm going to start in this moment on this day, and I'm going to clean the slate, and I'm going to do what this book asks me to do. And it's from that point on, my life changed very quickly because it's actually very simple, the instruction. I mean, if you go back to the message of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who this book is based upon, and he is the author, the instructions are love, give, and forgive. in every situation, just remember you are the cause of everything that seems to be happening to you, and you take the responsibility. So suddenly the practice is, okay, I'm not going to defend myself anymore. I'm going to pause before I open my mouth and vomit all over you, my stuff. And before I say, how could you do that? The practice then becomes, okay, let me be still a moment. The Course in Miracles has this great instruction that says, I will be still an instant. And it also says, I'm going to step back. So it's like in the pause, then I can see, oh my gosh, this is the Christ in front of me. Penelope Chatterton is the Christ. And then, how could I have a grievance? How could I have even a story about you? It becomes like, all I want to do is love you now. And it becomes like a very real experience because you start to live in this way.
That word projection is just so powerful. You're looking in a mirror, and you're looking at your stuff.
I look pretty good.
You look very good. And it's just, it's knowledge, and it's so freeing. But because, and I think Joel Goldsmith gives us some compassion on the assignment of this dimension, because we've been brainwashed a lot. This plane certainly doesn't offer what we're talking about. I mean, there's a lot to be fearful of and a lot going on. So we listen to all of that. And so that we have to cut through. But once I think you get the knowledge and the point, once you get the point of what's real, then it makes it easier to tackle this kind of thing, because once you get the truth.
Yeah, it does. And so what we've done, Bill and I, is we started this nonprofit organization. And because we really wanted to show people the simplicity of this work, and we knew that it can't come from us. It has to come from everyone who wants to do it. And so it became, and it's been interesting to us, because when we started this nonprofit, we still don't have a clue what we're doing, but in the beginning, it just became an idea. And everything that's happened since then has been a listening to the Holy Spirit and really asking, okay, what would you have us do? And we really just want to sort of open a door for people to see a new possibility for themselves in their life. So we have these online programs that we offer, and people are stepping forth, and we just give them a space where they can really begin to practice these ideas in their life. And once you practice them, you see they're true.
And life changes.
And your life changes.
So you go from your 40 days, which I think Bill mentioned on the last program, starts up again
August 1st.
August 1st. So folks who are watching this program can look at teachersofgod.org or .com, go to events or whatever, and find out when they can be ready to take on.
And it's free.
And it's free, as it should be.
As it should be.
Yes. Free is like a magic word with you folks.
And it really is free too. Like people get to the end of it and they realize there's no hook. It really is just a free course, because all that you finally discover when you're here is that you've been given a solution and you want to really just give it. I don't want people to suffer. Like I have really found that there's no need for problems. There's no need to be sick. There's no need to be sad. There's no need for any of that. And so it becomes now, like the Course in Miracles says, is we've been sent by God, that we've been brought into the world to bring the light of God and the joy of God and the peace of God to everyone and everything.
You can't hold it back.
And you can't hold it back, actually. That's the thing.
So beautiful. You can't hold your own freedom back.
My cup runneth over.
There's so much so much that's needed. We are needed.
We are needed.
And consciousness, we talked earlier before the program about how it is raising. And work is being done. And you said something interesting about it was different maybe 10 or 20 years ago. Consciousness was more trying in and out kind of thing. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, well, I've been teaching for a long time. I've been traveling for a long time. I've been facilitating groups for a long time. And I also receive a lot of mail. I receive a lot of letters. And over the years, I noticed that there was a shift where before people were just wanting to confront me or question me or say this isn't true or prove it to me, or like there was a lot of conflict. But see, that was the conflict in my own mind.
Sure.
So as I've been practicing, like there's been a clearing in me.
Yeah.
And Bill and I noticed at a workshop, we do a retreat in Maine every September, and we noticed about 2 or 3 years ago that the participants were different, that they were expressing things differently than the way that I was used to hearing.
Oh.
Where before they were they were looking before for solutions to their problems.
Yeah.
But now they were saying, okay, things still come at me, but I'm no longer staying trapped down there before. Yeah. And what they were saying this time is, I want to serve.
Yeah. Oh.
I want to be part of the solution.
Yeah.
And what we found was that people were now experiencing fear about stepping forward into their function.
Ah.
That they were saying, I want to help. I want to bring light to the world. I want to say I'm in love with Jesus. I want to come out of the closet.
Yeah.
I want to proclaim my love of God, but I'm afraid. My family, my job.
Yeah.
So when we had the idea for the nonprofit, it was that we were going to inspire and encourage and support individuals who were going to take their place as the light in the world.
Yeah. And a support system is very necessary if they're frightened,
Yep.
and if there could be judgment from their families, et cetera.
Yep.
Yeah, they need you.
Yep.
Perfect.
It is perfect, and it's
fun.
fun.
And it's going to move to even a more comfortable place. You're just this bridge. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
They're going to be climbing on board.
They are climbing on board.
Yeah.
And it's amazing too, because like this practice with Joel Goldsmith, I love it, because it really is to see, okay, I'm going to stand still in this moment, and you make an agreement now with God or the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm here just for this function.
Yep.
And then it's this, my prayer is, okay, bring them to me.
Yeah.
Like if there's, and not bring them to me physically necessarily, but anybody who's suffering, bring them like up out of the place that they're in to the place where I now live, which is in joy.
Yeah.
So bring them, and it's like an amazing thing, because people really are having an experience of the simplicity and the practical nature of this work.
Yeah. So you're a great encourager of silence and receiving and listening without all the stuff that we've been listening to about what meditation is, the goals, and if you count or look into a candle, or if you count to 20, you know, I like all that stuff. That would confuse me.
Yep.
I just want to rest in spirit.
Yep.
If nothing happens, that's fine.
Yep.
If everything happens, and just hang on to your hat.
Yep.
You don't have to know. You just have to be patient and relax and let it come to you.
Yep. Well, the thing about all of the goals is there's a point when you realize, oh, that's in the future. Like you're still trapped in this moment thinking, later I'll have an experience.
Yeah.
And then I'll be happy.
Oh.
But the teaching is that this is the only moment that there is. This is the totality of all that there is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any better than this. That this is it.
Yeah.
And you start to live your life from that place. So
That's the title of your next book. This is it, folks.
this is it, folks. It doesn't get any better than this.
I like that. That's right. Right now, this very moment.
Yep.
This is it.
So the goal has been accomplished. Now,
Yeah.
people still in their suffering, they can't understand that. But see, this is where the immediacy of the miracle is, it just takes a shift.
Yeah.
Like we have been taught as human beings that if you're suffering and you have a problem, or you have no money, or you have a relationship that's bad, that it's going to take time.
Yeah. That's so very well said.
Yeah, and it's not true. Like you begin to discover, no matter how many steps you take, not much changes.
Yeah.
Or if that thing does change, there's another problem that comes from out of somewhere else.
Yeah.
So when you start to really see, oh my gosh, I can just shift my thinking from worrying and sadness to gratitude.
To multi-worrying, all of this stuff, to being focused and free.
Yep.
I always like to think of the eternal moment. I'm home. I'm just home.
Yep.
So it doesn't get any better than this moment.
It doesn't.
Yeah. That's such a good point to make. Thank you. Lisa, that folks may think, well, I'm on my journey and I'm going to make it, maybe I'll be better next month or whatever. Yeah, that's a wonderful point.
And they try to be someone else. They try to be something other than they are. But however someone is in this very moment, no matter what your condition is, it doesn't matter. You are the Christ.
Yeah.
You are the love of God. You are the joy of God. You are the peace of God.
Yeah.
And you're searching. It's funny because people will laugh when they see that everything that they've been looking for was what they are.
They already have it. It sounds simple, and it is. But we live in a complicated place, so we have to, understand. I think knowledge is so key to really understand. I mean, let's get away from the practice, just the knowledge that what the truth really is. To really know that, then we can develop a sense of humor when we get silly or we buy into something, and we can whip ourselves back. And and knowledge also gives you such a sense of everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, what I like about the Course in Miracles is because I needed a practice. I wanted something that was going to take me from where I had located myself, that was going to take me out. And so that has a workbook. It has 365 lessons. It says it's going to take 1 year. And even that's funny because it doesn't take 1 year. But it's like in the mind that's so trapped in its own limited ideas, you might as well just use something like that. Like anybody has the possibility of waking up right now. Any moment that you choose that it be, like for me, and I've talked about this when I was with you last, is I had a moment of absolute frustration in the summer of 2010, and I said, I'm done with conflict. That's it. I am not engaging in conflict anymore. I am going to be happy, no matter what. No matter what flies at me, then that became my commitment. It became my dedication. And what happened from that point is everything that could possibly break and go wrong started flying at me. It was almost like I was being tested. Like, oh, really? Really, you're going to be happy no matter what?
Cute, Lisa. Right, try another one.
And for a while, things got so chaotic that I did get sucked down into that old pattern. But I kept remembering, no, I've made this decision. I am not going to live in the old way anymore. And I started to see that things were changing. That things really do start to change. And so with the 40-day program, we asked people to make a commitment. That for 40 days, you're going to make a commitment to finish the 40 days.
Nothing to it.
There's nothing to it. But what happens is when you decide to do this kind of work, I don't know why it happens, I don't know how, but it's like all that buried fear that we've stuffed down comes to the surface. So we just want to encourage people to say that's just normal.
Like the stretching. The more we do this, the more it wants to fight back. So there's where we can laugh it away.
Exactly.
Just say, we know what you're trying to do. The ego loves to keep trying to get into that back door.
So we just encourage people, no matter what happens during the 40 days, no matter if it looks like things are going wrong, we want you to just stick with it. Just because it's not the program that's doing anything, it's your commitment. It's that dedication to say, okay, I'm going to be different now.
I just got the 5-minute sign. So, and they say you can break a habit in, 21 days or something like that. What I'm hearing is this practical Taurus thing, which is very true. Showing up and repeating, no matter how much the struggle is. You just keep it up. And before long, and that's what I think really happens. The more you just practice the presence, the more that you practice remembering and sitting in truth, and it makes this dimension dissolve. And then you really have to serve. And that's where you talk about folks who take the 40 days. They want to be certified. They want to be teachers. And so you're really, you got this nice bridge that are helping folks.
And we're really inviting them to just go be a light in the world. Go shine your world. Go light your world. Like just wherever you are. You don't have to be a formal minister or a formal teacher. You don't have to write books. Whatever you're doing, go do it, but do it with the presence of God.
And walk on water today. And be happy.
And be happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And anything and everything, just know that whatever is put in your face, you put there.
Exactly.
That's the biggie.
Yep.
That's all yours. It's all about you. Take responsibility. Keep your sense of humor.
Yep.
And turn things around.
Well, that's just it. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't serious business. Like, Jesus says, be like a child.
Yeah.
That's when you know you've entered the kingdom. When you get to have fun, you get to play, you get to really just show up in the world and just see, like, okay.
No mask, no trying to be something you're not.
Yep.
Just be who you really are. It's funny about families too. You know, we always think, well, you know, gee, that reminds me of mom or dad or my sister in the last 2 minutes. But you know what? We're really God's children, and we're all uniquely different. And that's another thing to let go of, is those expectations or family traits or all of that. That's almost a gift. It's like, hey, that's not who I am.
Yeah. Well, that's the fast track too, is when you see, like, if there's one person that you think is separate, that's the block, and you just start to use forgiveness.
Yeah.
Say, okay, I'm dedicated to this work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to just live in joy.
Yeah.
I want to be happy.
Yeah. And receive your guidance and have a thought system. I think that's huge. You just have to have something. And as you say, you and Bill both appreciate Goldsmith and other teachers. I mean, there are so many voices that are saying the same thing in a different disguise that it's fine to be inspired.
Oh, it's great to be inspired, because that's what you are. You're in spirit.
Yeah, and you're not alone.
Yep.
And that's so critical, is you're never, ever, ever alone. So, here we are. And you've got the foundation, teachersofgod.org.com. You're inviting folks to your website.
Yep.
You're going to Denmark.
Going to Denmark.
You've got a camp going on up in Maine, right, or somewhere. You've got the prayer group that Bill was mentioning online, where folks can, if they have concerns, can shoot the story out and get a...
Well, that's what's happened. The foundation grew so fast that the mail we get has just become too much for us. So now we're really seeing, oh, this is a perfect place for people to step in.
Brilliant.
And start really just being part of, you know, helping others.
Yeah. Don't you love your mission?
I do.
I mean, do you pinch yourself? I would be. I am about my own. I mean, it's just...
I know, I love doing this.
Yeah.
Because it's like being an undercover agent. I mean, I've said that before. It's just like, you're just the love of God in the world, and you just get to really just be free.
Yeah. Yeah, and the feeling of freedom is, I think, has a lot to do with not being alone. I think that
definitely.
whole sense really of companionship, and because often on this plane there is that sense of being on a desert where that's never, and Spirit works in mysterious ways and in funny ways, and you just have to be open and remember that there is a companion working with you, and that's where the Course takes you, to your guide.
It does. Yep.
Every individual has one. Everybody's got one.
Yep.
So hopefully from this program and Bill's that people will look you up, because I think you made it quite clear today what you have to offer.
Yeah, I just want people to know they don't have to suffer.
They don't
like
have
if they're
to
out
suffer.
there listening and that they've been waiting for a miracle, that this is here.
Yeah. And what makes this so authentic too for me, with folks that come on here, is you have suffered and you have taken that road down where you did not know who you were. So anyway, thank you. I'm getting the signal. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you, my friends, for joining us on Awake in the Dream. I will talk to you again soon.